New uncertainty over Donald Trump's immigration plan. While talking to reporters on the plane yesterday, he appeared to give three different answers when asked whether he'd rule out a pathway to legal status for some undocumented immigrants. Watch.
I'm not ruling out anything. No, I'm not getting a pathway to legal status.
No. To become a citizen, you're going to have to go out and come back in. Through the process, you're going to have to get online. This isn't touchback. We're going to make that decision into the future.
Interesting. Okay, Judge. So he's parsing a very fine point there that I'm not sure everybody necessarily appreciates. There are people who come here illegally and stay and want to become citizens. He's saying if you want to become a citizen, you have to go home and come back. There are people who come here illegally who are here who don't want to become citizens and don't want to go home. And I think that's part of what they were trying to get at.
I see two issues here. One is the danger to Trump if his base perceives him as talking out of both sides of his mouth on this immigration. There's sort of the side that Chris Christie and Rudy Giuliani have tried to talk him into, the softer, more compassionate side. Then there's the sort of rough, tough, I'm going to get rid of all 11 million illegals, no matter the pain to them, they don't belong here side, that he started his campaign with.
But what's the legality of it? But what's the legality of the people who are here illegally if you're not trying to become a citizen, and he's saying, well, I don't know if I'm really going to send them home?
Great question. The president has extraordinary discretion in this area. Barack Obama has exercised his discretion not to deport people who are here illegally if they have children who are born here legally, because he decided he doesn't want to break up families. Donald Trump, if he became president, would have that same discretion. It's a rare area of the law where the president has broad, not unbridled, but broad discretion as to who to deport, under what circumstances to deport them, and how quickly to do it.
So obviously not unbridled, because recently the U.S. Supreme Court went against Barack Obama, our president, and said you cannot go this far, and this will not be a perennial type thing. Where these people can stay sheltered in this country. But the point that Melissa is making is an interesting one, I feel, because there are these people who are living among us who have no intention of ever becoming U.S. citizens.
Or leaving.
So that means, what are they not doing? They're not maybe abiding by the laws. They might not feel encumbered to do that. They're certainly not paying their fair share of taxes. Because we don't know they're here, supposedly.
That's an area where Donald Trump needs to be clear what his attitude is, because as the President of the United States, he would have the right to direct the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice to go after them or not to go after them.
I would say, doesn't it feel like he's trying to have his cake and eat it too right now?
Yeah, a little bit.
You talk about the danger of talking out of both sides of his mouth. I think he's crafted this, Rorschach message where everybody hears what they want to hear.
Yeah,
I mean, no, either way.
And I go back to Chris Starwell on the Kelly File last night was saying he needs to leave this issue. He played to his base as he came out of the gate announcing his campaign, and now this wavering is not going to help. Should he just leave the issue, Julie Roginski? I mean, I'm not ruling out anything. We're going to make that decision into the future. How historically does that play politically for a presidential candidate to say, you know what, I'll get to this later on?
Here's the thing. Poor Kellyanne Conway, who I think is wonderful and I have a lot of time for, and is, I think, a great operative. But she came in and she obviously looked at the polling because she's a pollster, and she said, oh, my God, we are tremendously in trouble with Catholics, and Hispanics Latinos are a huge percentage of those Catholics that they have problems with. She then obviously, well, I wouldn't say obviously, but I suspect said we need to ameliorate the situation somehow. But you made your bed.
Yes.
And get off the subject. Get off it and move on to things that people care about, like the economy, like national security. But that's not what we're hearing from him. This immigration thing's been going on for 2 weeks now. First of all, it went on the entire primary season. Well, but now it's been going on again for 2 weeks.
He's not making people in the middle, the ones you're talking about in the suburbs around Pennsylvania, feel a little better. I mean, you're talking about
the optics of going south of the border separately from the issue of whatever he's going to end up doing on illegal immigration policy. The optics of that certainly bought him some, I would say, some good bonus points with those people in the middle. But again, if he gets off the subject, then he doesn't have to worry about wavering.
I think agreed. We
get off it. Do you think
that the Democrats perceive him as wanting to have it both ways?
I think the Democrats are going to drive his hardest line message that he drove in the primary in ads over and over and over again.
So what should he do?
He should get off the subject.
Move on.
Move on.